Hi, buddy. Welcome back to Face to Face. We're going to go over some of the artists. We're with Tim Trombley from Caesars Windsor in the Coliseum. They're celebrating their 5th year, but 20 years for having the casino in town on the riverfront. We got to go. The biggest night I think a lot of us all went to was with Billy Joel. I mean, that kicked off the Coliseum.
That was a grand
opening. And that was a huge show. That if you're going to start, you might as well start with him.
Start big, right?
That was a great show.
Yeah.
When you look at some of the other artists, I mean, Celine Dion, I mean, in case you missed this, folks, these are people that have been appearing here in Windsor. I mean, many of you maybe remember the days of the Elmwood Casino and the Top Hat and the Metropole, brought in some of the stars, but boy, oh boy, we're getting the stars now. I mean, Celine Dion, just to name a few of the stars. What's some of the other big acts that you can remember
well,
in
the last 5 years, yeah. I mean, Maroon 5, Sarah McLachlan, Journey, you know, Lionel Richie.
And a diversity, so it's not just older. You had Bruno Mars before Bruno Mars was really Bruno Mars, if you know what I mean.
We caught him at just the right time.
On his way up.
Yeah, on his way up.
But that place was packed.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, you hear about it from the different people that were there. So what do many of them say? I mean, when you finally meet them, or they come in on their limousine or bus or however they get here, and then they see Tim Trombley, how many would say, are you related to any of those?
There's been a number. I mean, Chicago, Paul Anka, of course.
Yes, Paul Anka, very popular here.
Yeah. Alice Cooper.
And Smokey.
Spinners, Smokey Gladys
Robinson.
Knight. A lot of them remember, you know, they see the name and then they find out and it's like, oh, okay, you're Rosalie's son. And, you know, they speak of my mother with great reverence. So,
well, that's great.
Yeah.
So tell us your day of an event. So the stars get in, when do they rehearse? Tell us kind of how it works.
Show days, depending on the level of the artist and the amount of their own production that they're bringing with them, show days, load in as we call it, can start at 7 o'clock in the morning, and that show may not load out until the next morning at 1 or 2 in the morning. So, you know, the crews show up first with their trucks, with all the production, and so we start the actual load in, setting the equipment up on stage. We'll provide meals throughout the day, and then usually the room is set in terms of the staging and the lighting. The room is usually set by 1 or 2 in the afternoon. There's a sound check that happens between 4 and 5.
And that's literally where the star or the artist would come and
yes, they'll come down and you know, just get their own dynamics, you know, the monitors dialed in, and then we have a security meeting where we'll meet with the artist representatives and go through what their security needs are for the night. And there's a lot of detail that goes into making that show night flawless and enjoyable for obviously our patrons, but for the artists as well, to make sure they have a good experience in the Coliseum.
Now, I know the Coliseum, but were you part of it all with the Al Pacino thing?
No, I wasn't really involved in that, but again, that was...
Well, I was there and I got to meet him. I don't know what the security was doing that day, but no, I was part of the fundraiser and everything, and I got to meet him after, and I would throw a picture.
I hear it was a tremendous event.
Well, I say, hoo-ha. It was great. And of course, the other one everyone knows, Natalie Cole. When Natalie Cole came back to town, let me tell you, there's probably about, you know, all 29 fans out there. No, but that was a full night too.
It was.
And I was able to even go back and tell her the story of meeting her years ago, and
right.
I won't bore everybody with that, but that's the kind of thing that I guess the diversity, because you've also had not only soul and movie stars, I mean, but there is security involved, isn't there?
Right, there is, yeah. We have a great team. A lot of the artist protection team are ex-Windsor police. So,
oh, good.
And they're...
Well, I don't recognize all their faces, but let me tell you. But I'm glad about that too.
Yeah.
Just at least to know that they're there.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the diversity in what we've had. So we've also comedians have done very well here.
Comedians do very well.
You've had Jay Leno.
We have had Jay Leno. We've had Russell Peters.
I'm telling you, he gets the place going. I will not sit in the first few rows, but comedians have done well.
Very well. Yeah. One of the things that we strive for, John, is to provide a varied lineup where, you know, it's comedians, it's country music, it's pop music, it's music from the 60s with Paul Anka and Engelbert Humperdinck, and Tony Bennett, of course, has played the room, the legendary Tony Bennett.
Wow.
So we strive with the 65 shows that we program a year, we strive to provide a lot of variety.
Well, in your celebration of your 5 years, you've had some great shows this past year. All right, so what do we got coming? There's got to be something that's a wow that you can announce here on Face to Face. Is it who you were working on, or does that? I don't want to get you in trouble. We want you to make your 6 here.
I'll tell you this. It's going to be an exciting fall. August is a very strong lineup. You know, we have John Mellencamp coming back, the legendary Deep Purple, Steely Dan, Toto with Michael McDonald from the Doobie Brothers, Rosanna, and then the show that we just announced a couple weeks ago that I'm very excited about is Miss Sarah Brightman.
From Phantom of the Opera, and did a lot of Andrew Lloyd Webber's music in that.
Right. And that's, I mean, again, that speaks to the variety, right? I mean, Sarah Brightman is something totally different. We really haven't had that type of classical, crossover artist in the Coliseum. So we're excited about that one. And there's a couple in December that are very exciting as well.
So if someone comes to Caesars Windsor, will you also see them at Casino Rama or Niagara Falls, or we work with them, or we're part of a tour? Or?
I mean, again, a lot of the tours that come through, especially with contemporary acts, are routed tours. So Rama and Caesars Windsor, our rooms are the same size. We have 5,000 capacity. So there's an opportunity there as far as routing to, play 2 5,000 capacity rooms on the same weekend. So yeah, there are some advantages there. The company that we work with, as I mentioned earlier, C3 Presents, also books the room at Rama too.
Oh, good.
So,
okay.
Yes, we try to find synergy there, when and where we can.
Well, I'll tell you, such diversity too, and even with everyone watching the Windsor Express basketball, that was a big thing too. So is there anything that we could also we think of music and everything, but any trade shows or other things? What other uses could there be for the Coliseum?
Well, the tiered seating section is totally retractable. It's the largest tiered seating in North America that is fully retractable. So when we pull that tiered seating back, we have 30,000 square feet available for trade shows and conventions.
Wow.
And then, of course, if we leave the tiered seating out, we've had Windsor Express in this past season where we took the floor seats out but left the tiered seating in position. That still gives us capacity of somewhere around 4,500 to 5,000. And we had Windsor Express in. It was a great game. We've had mixed martial arts. We've had Bellator
and boxing
and so that speaks to the flexibility of the room. And those are the things that going forward we'll probably try more non-music events.
Now, will that be part of or are you sticking just to music, or you be part of those events too?
I'm part of those events as well. So
we want you to do is we're putting up the information on the Coliseum at Caesars Windsor. We're putting that up there right now. And if you want any information on upcoming, some of the things we've mentioned today, or just some great pictures. They got pictures of all the different artists in it. And the other thing is too, if you ever get backstage, they've got all these things, and they autograph the wall. Who started that thing?
Kiss.
Unbelievable.
Kiss, yeah.
Gene
Simmons started that.
And they there's a pillar in the back, and they have this meet and greet, but all the stars started autographing this wall. It was unbelievable.
It's a tradition. It's become a tradition now. The only problem is we're running out of room on the pillar for signatures.
Wow. Well, that's great. And it's been a celebration of 5 years, so more to go. And I got to ask you, so as Rosalie Trombley's son, what music did you listen to on the way here?
On the way here today?
Yeah, on your car radio or on your CD.
I had 93.9 The River on because I love their variety. I love their variety.
Okay.
But if I had my iPod in the car, which I didn't for the drive over today, but there's a really cool young band from South Africa called the Congos that are breaking out. I'm middle-aged man, obviously, but a teenager at heart, and I'm always listening to new music.
I wanted to ask you, where'd you go to school?
I went to school here in Windsor.
What's high school?
I went to Riverside High School.
Okay.
Did a couple of years at St. Clair. And
everybody goes through St. Clair College. When you look at it, St. Clair College is running half this place around here, Windsor. They're everywhere. But thank you very much for what you've done, and give our best to your mom And what a celebration and a history you have. And you're connected with a big thing in the history of making of entertainment and shows in Windsor, Essex. So thank you for what you're doing, and say hi to Kevin Lafayette. And all the, we didn't even get into all the charity work and the things they do for hospice and all the charities every year. Caesars Windsor is giving out checks too, and thank them for that, because there's so many charities that they have helped along the 20 years. So congratulations. All right, thanks for being there. And thank you for being on Sacred College, on Face to Face. We'll see you next time. And by the way, let me know when Natalie's coming back.
I will.
All right. We'll see you next time.